It's the Clarence-Rockland Guide. I'm Derrick Scott from Hot Country 92.5. After a busy day at work, running around, you need to feel relaxed, comfortable. Chantal Charron can do it for you. Her business, C Design for You, can create your feel-good space. She's our guest on the Clarence-Rockland Guide. Welcome.
Thank you.
Would you be considered an interior decorator and more?
Yes. I consider myself an interior design consultant. So I will help from the design process for like a renovation and then complete it with the decorating touches at the end.
Obviously, the feel-good space.
Yes,
And the feel-good space could be any room in your home?
exactly. It could be your bathroom, it could be your kitchen, it could be your office space, because a lot of people in the past years have been working from home. And it can be like the entire main floor. So I've done a lot of those where we basically transform so that people feel good throughout the house.
Do you find that your business has maybe grown since COVID with so many people spending time at home and the cost of real estate where people are going, instead of selling and buying, maybe we'll redesign our home?
100%. I think I launched my business at the right time, 2019, but then when 2020 hit with COVID, already had a few projects, but it never slowed down. It just went up from there because a lot of people, when the mortgage rates were lower, would just basically remortgage and renovate instead of buying new homes. And it hasn't slowed down yet, so we're still good for the renovations.
What made you launch your business?
So growing up, my parents both had their business. My mother was a hairdresser and my dad was a contractor, painting contractor. So it kind of inspired me a bit of having my own business, but naturally you got to gain a bit of experience first. I've always done a bit of design like on the side while I would work for a company. And throughout the years, like I've worked for different companies where I gained different experiences. And at one point it was, okay, I'm more busy or as much busy as my full-time job. So it was like, okay, let's just do it. And I did, and I haven't looked back. So that's positive.
What type of design do you enjoy doing the most?
Residential. I've done a bit of commercial, but I really love like the heartfelt approach, the one-on-one, getting more personal with the clients and really help them create that space for them.
And generally, when you look at business, for example, it's kind of sterile where it's someone's home, so there's memories and there's a warmth already created when you walk in the room.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm I'm an empathic person. So when I do walk into someone's home, I will, already grasp on those little things and try to get the feeling that they want to create in their home and put those little memories and those little touches so that it really resembles their own space.
Now, when you're talking to your customers and they're talking about what they want, what they need, do you picture it in your head as they're explaining it?
Yes. I always tell this to my client. I said, one day in the future, there'll be this little USB chip that I'll be able to download from my brain and show it to you on a screen. Because, yes, I see everything in my vivid imagination. And then I'll put that on computer and then present it to them afterwards. But, yeah, I have all the pictures in my mind.
And I noticed as well from visiting your website, you mentioned you can do computer design, but you've also been known to do freehand sketching as well.
Yes. So I'm still old school for that. I like to just freehand sketch just as I'm talking with the clients so that they can have a bit of a visual of what I'm imagining in my head. So I will sketch just with a pencil, and so that way they can see, but then afterwards I will put all the ideas onto computer.
And I imagine when it comes to educating yourself, you need to be on top of trends, right? And trends change so rapidly. But trends can also be very cyclical in a way.
Yes, yes. So we'll see things that come back like now in 2023 that we've seen like in the 80s. So we see it with the clothing, but we also see it in design as well. So it's kind of like a cycle, but with little fine touches that are a bit different. It could be like the colors, it can be shapes, but we get inspired by the history of art and design.
When a customer mentions, say, for example, a color that they really, really want in their living room, and in your opinion, it doesn't work, do you freely tell them your opinion?
Yes, I give them my professional opinion. So, because if they want a certain color and it can work, even though it's not my preference, I will make it work for them. But if it doesn't work with, a sofa that they absolutely want to keep, I will be honest with them. At the beginning of my career, it's something that I had trouble with because I wanted to please them. But then I'm like, they're paying me to give them advice, so I'll give them, the truth. So now I'm very truthful and I'll be honest with them, but in a polite way. I'll just say, I'm sorry, but this won't, accent your sofa for this reason. How about we go, in that same line of cool colors that you want, but maybe this tone would work better.
It's interesting that you mention, accenting your sofa. I imagine a lot of people don't think of small details like that, where a certain color may not match their furniture or their style.
Yes, for sure. Like I mentioned earlier, I often talk about like the feeling that the clients want. So like colors will create different types of feelings. So if people like to feel like fresh and cool in the space, well, we'll go with cooler tone colors. But if someone wants to be like, oh, I like it cozy, and so we can go with warmer tones. And then obviously we want everything to coordinate with the furniture, the flooring, and to the drapes.
Do you find that the request for colors has changed since, for example, the pandemic, where people were stuck at home, doom and gloom, where people maybe want more brighter, vibrant colors?
Yes. Everything's white now.
Really?
Yes. So because of the pandemic, like everybody just wants to be fresh and pure, and they want to get away of the heaviness. So all dark colors are out, and it's like white on cream on light gray, but it's very light tones for the walls. But then we're going to accent with like vibrant colors for artwork, furniture, and stuff like that. But mainly like wall colors, we're staying in the neutral tones.
So do you also consult not only color-wise, but you mentioned art. Can you actually match colors, your business, to art that they have or a style of art that maybe they're considering down the road?
Yes. So often when I start a design, I'll get inspired by the pieces that they have. So if they absolutely love this artwork and they said, this is staying, we have to work around this. Well, I'll be working with that artwork and picking up the tones within it and trying to make it their main focus or their main piece, and the decor works around that.
I imagine you do have to work around a lot because there are a number of people that have certain styles, or, for example, a certain carpet.
Often, like I'll have a couple, which one person will have one specific style, the other person has another specific style, or like you mentioned, one loves this rug, the other one doesn't. So I actually have to do a bit of compromise, but I will try to coordinate best possible their pieces that they do want to keep and make everything flow.
I imagine there at times has to be a compromise where she wants a certain style and he wants a different style.
Yep.
You're stuck in the middle sometimes.
Yeah, I do, how do you say, marriage counseling?
Okay, I guess you would.
No, I often laugh about it. But yeah, I try to find good compromises. And I think I mentioned it earlier, like styles can be mixed. So you can have, like a country style mixed in with a bit of modern, which is called modern country, which is very popular right now. You can have, like a classic, more traditional look, but with a bit of contemporary. So, straighter lines. So we can mix, a few styles together. And then you have the eclectic when you have quite a bit of different styles mixed in, but it can be done tastefully.
What's the most challenging style for you to work with? Would it be the eclectic? Would it be the modern? Would it be the classic?
I guess no. There's not really one in particular that I find more for me, it's a challenge. Actually, just one I just did recently was a Mediterranean kitchen style. And I had to work with a backsplash accent that they already had, which was bright yellow.
Oh,
With a lot of color. So I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a challenge. But I'm like, I'm up for a challenge. But I made it work, and they love what I propose, and I think it's going to look pretty good.
it's interesting that you mentioned the kitchen.
Yep.
A lot of people do kitchen remodels, kitchen redesigns by means of new appliances, maybe new kitchen cupboards, but there's a lot more to it, from coloring to backsplash, like you mentioned,
Yep.
and what have you.
Yep. Countertops. I mean, there's so many different quartz, granites. You have like the wood accents. Now we don't do just like a kitchen one color. We can do islands in a different color. We can add, shelving with a wood accent, the hood fan. There's so much detailing that goes into a kitchen.
And really, when you think about it, a lot of us spend a lot of time in the kitchen. We all gather
Yep.
at the kitchen, whether it's for a meal, family, friends coming over. The kitchen still seems to be the focal point, if not more now compared to before. The typical sitting in the living room
Yep.
is now, let's relax in the kitchen.
100%. That's why a lot of people now want the stools at the island and a big island so that people can gather around. They can put, plates of food on the island. And yeah, a lot of that that we do recently. So.
What's your favorite room to do in a home? If you had to pick one.
I guess it's like a tie between bathrooms and kitchens. They're always fun. I guess I'd say bathrooms because, it's like your spot where you can go relax. So it's all about like the proper lighting, little accents. So yeah, I'd say bathrooms.
Now, when you mention little accents, what do you mean by that?
Like wall fireplace while you're taking your bath, pot lights, dimmables, so that, some people that they just want to relax with a few candles, they can dim their lighting, tile selection, vanity, color, all of that.
What would you say to someone who would be on the fence and would say, Chantal, I'd love to redesign my bathroom, but it's too small. There's nothing we can do.
Oh no, I'd be like, oh, let me see. Well, I'm sure we can do something. I love a challenge. Even if it's a small space, we can still create a feel-good space, even if it's that small.
People want to learn more about some of your past work because you do have it displayed on your website, and or get a hold of you for an in-home consultation that you do offer.
Yep.
What's your website, Chantal?
It's cdesigns4u.ca. And for you is actually the number 4 and the letter U. And I also am on Facebook and Instagram as well. Instagram, it's Chantal Designs for You. And I also have much more recent pictures on the Instagram account.
I also noticed that in the future you're going to delve into photography.
It's a bit of a pastime of mine, and I just started to put a few on my website. If people like to add artwork, photography is a type of artwork. Well, at least I could offer that, and we can have it nicely framed and do a nice little display, be in a bathroom, a kitchen, a living room. So it's just splashes of color.
Before we wrap up, bragging rights. There are a number of businesses similar to yours throughout the area. Other than yours being local, what makes your business stand out? Why should people contact you?
Like I mentioned earlier, I'm a very empathic person. I really like to work with like the energy of a space and with my clients to create their feel good space. That's why my slogan is very important to me. I won't just tell you, okay, this is what's going to look good. I want it to be the space that the clients feel good in. So I really take the time to listen to them and understand how they want to feel in their space so that they feel comfortable after they finish working. They get home and they're like, oh, this is my relaxing spot until, they get back to work the next day.
Hence the feel good space.
Exactly.
Perfect. Chantal Charron from C Design for You. Thanks for being a part of the Clarence-Rockland Guide.
Thank you so much.